How the heck does insurance work? This presentation was initially put together by Lauren Garber. Lauren is one of our members of our benefits team, and she originally presented this at our 2024-2025 wellness event. Thanks, Lauren. What is insurance? Health insurance, dental insurance, medical insurance is very similar to how one or the structure of car insurance. You pick features, you pick deductibles, you pick plan coverages. In our situation here at South Middleton School District, there is one plan design that is determined by a variation of things, including the collective bargaining agreements, cost, providers, administrators. Those are just to name a few things. So in some ways, it's, again, like shopping for car insurance. What does in-network mean? In-network providers have a negotiated price for services set with your health plan and your insurer. Your insurer will pay its responsibility according to the plan. In-network providers have to bill your health plan directly, which means you will only owe your predetermined copay or deductible at the time of care. What does this mean, or what does that mean? Health insurance terms. What is a deductible? What are copays, coinsurance, HSAs, and what is the coordination of benefits? Let's start with deductible. A deductible is the amount you pay each year for certain eligible medical services or medications before your health plan begins to share in the cost of covered services. For example, if you have a $1,000 yearly deductible, you'll need to pay the first $1,000 of your total eligible medical costs before your plan begins to pay on your behalf. Examples of costs that typically count towards the deductible: bills for hospitalization, surgery, labs and scans, anesthesia, medical devices. Examples of costs that do not count towards the deductible: copays, premiums, costs not covered by the plan. Copay. A copay or copayment is the flat amount that you pay at time of service each time you go to your doctor or fill a prescription. For example, if you are sick and you see your doctor, or you need a refill of your medication, the amount you pay for that visit or medication is your copay. Keep in mind that if you are seeing a specialist for a condition or utilizing urgent care or the emergency room, your copay could be higher than a regular office visit with your primary care doctor. Let's take a moment and look at the difference between copays and coinsurance. Please view the chart. Copays, paid each time you visit your doctor or fill a prescription. Fixed dollar amount, paid at the time of service. Coinsurance, paid for services and medications if you've met your deductible. Amount will vary. You pay a percentage of the total cost of the covered service. Billed after the service by your provider, accompanied by an explanation of benefits explaining your charges. Now let's look at coinsurance in a bit more detail. Coinsurance is a portion of the eligible medical cost you pay after your deductible has been met. If your plan has coinsurance, then after meeting your deductible, you will pay a percentage of the eligible medical cost while your health plan pays the remainder, typically up to a certain amount. For example, if your coinsurance is 20%, you will pay 20% of the cost of your service after the deductible, and your health plan will pay the other 80%. The higher your coinsurance percentage, the higher your share of the cost will be. The total amount that you pay in coinsurance will typically be limited on an annual basis by the out-of-pocket maximum. Health savings accounts, HSAs. HSAs are triple tax advantaged accounts that can pay for health expenses or be used to save for retirement. They're funded with tax-free dollars. They earn tax-free interest, and they can be used without being taxed for qualified medical expenses. This includes healthcare, dental care, prescription and eye care expenses, and some over-the-counter health expenses. At the conclusion of the use of an HSA, there are options to roll it into retirement plans. That is something that you should consult a financial planner to discuss and to explore your options with. Nation of benefits. This term refers to the process of determining which insurance plan is responsible for paying for medical claims first when a person has multiple coverages. One that you have likely encountered if you have dependents is the birthday rule. What this rule means is that if there are dependents who have multiple coverage by way of subscribers, so for instance, two parents have coverage for one child, the parents whose birthday comes first in the year, so the first month, so if your birthday is in January, it's very likely that your insurance is going to be the primary insurance and that the other parents will be secondary. The other thing to know is that if you have coverage through an employer and you also have coverage through your spouse, it is very likely that your employer's coverage is going to be primary coverage and your spouse's coverage provided through their employer is going to be secondary. What is this document? Next, we'll take a look at some of the documents you're likely to encounter as someone who's covered by a healthcare plan. Summary of Benefits and Coverage, the SBC. This is a standardized document that outlines the key features of a health plan. This document is included in our benefits booklets. Explanation of benefits, EOBs. Just as a heads up, these are probably those things that you get in the mail and the envelope's a little bit thick from Highmark. Please do not discard them without taking a look at them. They are high-level summaries of the claims in the document. They're not bills, and it will typically say that all over the document. They highlight and explain what you owe. They track plan progress, such as deductibles and out-of-pocket costs. There's a QR code on most of these that leads to an explanation of benefits FAQ website. And there's also customer service contact information and key insurance term explanations. So there's usually what's like a key at the bottom and in the form of footnotes that explain why something's covered or why it's covered at a certain amount or why it's not being covered. So you need to pay attention to these documents. And this is kind of where sometimes you first discover that things aren't being covered or that something's billed incorrectly. Another document that you're likely to encounter is the pre-authorization. It's a health insurance plan's decision that a medical service or prescription is medically necessary. It's typically obtained by the ordering prescriber or provider. It typically comes in the mail or if you are signed up for the portal. I've seen and had the experience where a pre-authorization has come from a third-party processor. I think one of the ones that Highmark uses is called Evolve, Evolve. It is vitally important, particularly if you're having something very costly done, like an MRI, or if you are getting a prescription that's cutting edge or maybe just coming off of experimental, that you are in tune with these things, because not having pre-authorization can either result in a delay in services or sometimes a huge bill that you aren't anticipating, and it can put you in a very difficult situation. Given all of the nuances that you can be forced to navigate when you're dealing with health insurance, you might ask yourself, where can I get help? If you need assistance, specifically as it relates to your medical or prescription coverage, please contact Highmark. Highmark's member services telephone number is 1-800-241-5704. If you are navigating life issues and maybe looking for some supports, we do have an employee assistance program through New York Life. That telephone number is 1-800-344-9752. And they actually have a pretty great website as well. And that website is guidanceresources.com. And you do need the web ID that needs to be entered. It's all caps, NYL, G as in girl, B as in boy, S as in snow cone. Thank you for sticking with us until the end, and I hope that this information is informative and gives you a foundational vocabulary and literacy to help you navigate your benefit usage and your benefit choices. Please contact Human Resources if you have any questions or need anything. We can be reached at hr@smsd.us. Thank you.